Hi, I'm Ed Skipper. I train people to navigate through grief and loss. Now, there are some people that would not benefit from this presentation. If a person has never had a serious loss, their loved ones have never had a serious loss, those they work with have never had a serious loss, and they are convinced that none of those groups will, this won't be of much benefit to them. But the feedback I've gotten from people who've been through my presentations is that it's been very helpful. My situation is this. When I was in the 8th grade, my father suddenly passed away. How I coped with that and how people dealt with me is a beautiful illustration of how grief can go south. So what I will do is weave my personal story into what leaders have to say, leaders in the field of grief and loss, what they're having to say about it. Now for me, because I was on an emotional roller coaster ride, I said to myself, you are crazy after my dad died because it was so intense. And I have heard many adults say the same thing. They think that something is wrong with them because they don't know that what they are going through is typical grief. I will, in the training session, lay out what the typical signs are, what people go through when they are grieving. Now, I hated the emotions that I was feeling when my dad passed away, the sorrow, sadness, the anger, so I stuffed them down. It reminds me when I was a kid and we used to take balls to the swimming pool and hold them underwater, and it took a great deal of energy to hold that ball down. And we would let up, and finally that ball would come shooting up into the air, and it was a fun thing to do. But stuffing our emotions is a little bit like that. It takes a great deal of energy to hold them down, and they actually don't go away by stuffing them. They live in some form. So in my presentation or presentations, I will explain how we can process grief. In my situation, I had no friend or relative or teacher or coach or someone that walked with me through the process and supported me in it. It's very important that people have at least one person who will walk with them through the grieving process. What happens is people are not comfortable being around people who are grieving and they don't know what to say. So in my presentation, I will teach people ways that they can assess the grieving person, things that they can say that are appropriate, and some things that people typically say that are meant to be helpful but are often hurtful to that grieving person. So those are the three things that I mainly cover: what grief is like, how to process grief, and how to support grieving people. I am very passionate about this subject and would love to have a chance to do some training or a presentation with your organization. So please consider it. Thank you.